Sweet. How was that?
No, good. Yeah, I think it went a whole lot better than what we did yesterday.
Well, I think that it's all, it's neat too for me to kind of deepen my understanding so I know what questions to ask. But I was also conscious of, in going through the thing, it was asking the questions that naturally occurred. So I hope I didn't leap over some of those things that other people would wonder. I don't think we did. I think it was really a natural conversation.
I think, yeah, we covered the PowerPoint material.
Yeah, yeah.
I had it on my side here, so I kept flipping through the pages to keep track.
Awesome. Yeah, it felt good. Felt good. Yeah. I think it was just over an hour.
Yeah.
So I think we started about, and an hour feels like a good amount of time to get the download, be able to really explore in it and kind of wrap it up. It feels like the right amount of time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's good material for people interested in the food system and seeing where can I make a difference. So this PowerPoint, I mean, I presented that to the Sierra Club and then of course the CCL, and it was really well received. I mean, we got a good audience and cross-sectional audience really. And when I come back to Bend in April, they want to do it to a larger audience and repeat it. So the interest is there. Now people process it.
Yeah.
And I had just the nicest experience. I have been introducing this 4 per 1,000 initiative for some time now. I've been pushing it, and then so I let it go for a while. And today, one guy put it on the agenda. I want to talk about the 4 per 1,000 initiative. It never occurred to him that where he got it from. He forgot where it came from. And so he wants to put this on the map. He wants to take the charge and take the lead to connect CCL with the 4 per 1,000 worldwide global community there. And so I said, yeah, I'll help you. Now, can I join you? I think it's a great initiative. But it's people don't remember where they pick up things and where it comes from. And I think that's really the power of activism. Because you just insert information into the stream, to the consciousness, and people don't see it. I always compare that to when you go and buy a new car, and you start researching cars, and then you become aware of one model you never thought of before, and when you drive home, you see them everywhere. Yeah? Because you can't, your mind doesn't process anything. I mean, when you go into neuroscience, our brains reduce the amount of information into your conscious awareness to what it can process, and we can't process anywhere near what we see and hear around us. So until your narrative, your internal talk becomes aware of something, it escapes your attention, which is one reason why I'm so specialized in this thing. I scan through all the news websites, and I get cut on articles that may be missed by most people, but they link into this picture that I'm emerging in. And so when you look at a systems mapping really is like a sandbox. When you poke from underneath, you poke in pieces up until you have a picture emerging.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're doing. We're taking this big box of information, and which pieces have to be pulled up so they stand out. So all of a sudden you see a painting coming out of it. So we're creating a visual painting out of a system connection, out of patterns, really.
Yes. How much have you looked into pattern science?
A lot. I mean, I did get pretty deep in it. In fact, at one point, I partnered with a neuroscientist, PhD, Harvard-educated PhD, who worked for the military. And we were working on creating a program for PTSD damaged veterans. And so I was introducing him to the idea of using nutrition and yoga to detox these guys and then prepare them for his program. Now, this was an interesting fellow. He worked with the US military to prepare them for battle. And the way he was, because when you have a soldier go into battle and the first time he has bullets fly around his head, that's when they freeze and that's when they make mistakes. So the most casualties occur in the first phases of deployment. When they first go out in deployment, they just panic. You know?
Yeah.
So he created training exercises with simulated battle situations where these soldiers became sort of capable of processing a bullet fly over my head or something is shooting at me. And so he wanted to, this is called neuroplasticity, brain plasticity. Right? So your brain can actually create new channels and new connections to learn things it didn't know before. So he wanted to apply that to helping PTSD suffering veterans to become healthy again. And my point was you need to detox these guys first, because for as long as they are on opioids and alcohol or depressions, they're not going anywhere. And so we just spent 6 months with him.
Mm-hmm.
Had to set up a nonprofit, and then that fell apart because he's the director of the Neuroscience Institute. So he just incorporated that into his own program, which was great. And so, but I learned as much from him as he, as I was able to share on my side. But that really made me so aware of how the narrative is the single most important component of change.
Yes.
You don't change people's actions through force or talk and what have you. No, you change them by changing their narrative, the things they talk about and how they talk.
Yes.
So, which is the reason why there is so much propaganda in the media about climate change, for example, because the moment people lock in their narrative to identifying and relating the next storm system that comes through, which is like, wow, that never happened before here, to climate change, the population would respond in ways that they don't want them to respond. So this is why you have this continuous, vigorous climate denial, which is becoming increasingly untenable. But they just keep on doing it. And so our countermeasure, in the activist arena. In fact, I wanted to write about that. This is sort of the thought that occurred to me. At what point in time are we going to move from, talking about fancy flow charts and diagrams and pictures into doing something tangible, right?
Yes.
So as activists, there's not much tangible we can do in the sense of going in the street or revolution. I mean, none of that is going to get us anywhere. But we can influence the narrative. The only thing that we should focus on is how do we impact the narrative of people so that they're creating so much cognitive dissonance in their heads that they just explode.
Yeah.
And so when you look at how cognitive dissonance is processed, continuous isolation that people experience who are in a cognitive dissonance trap. I mean, take Fox News, Hannity, people who listen to this guy and believe his stuff, or Rush Limbaugh who believe that stuff, are getting increasingly agitated because what they think, in terms of narrative, collides with experienced reality around them, and this is getting more and more challenging to align. And so, then how do you now feed this? I've been on LinkedIn arguing with so many people all the time, just to try to figure out, how do I catch this guy, right? I mean, do I insult him? Do I challenge him? Do I reason? And so how do you? So this is really this is sort of the cutting edge frontier for volunteers. How do I convey gently? I had a conversation with a Canadian member of parliament, retired guy, 80 years old, as active as can be. I met him in Palm Springs. We have some friends from Canada. And he had heard about me, and he just, it took like 5 minutes, and he wanted to talk about climate change and what a stupid, idiotic thing this is, right? And so I just let him run through, and then we had over the entire dinner, he had every Fox News argument that you can bring on, and I just sort of dismantled it. Now, he's a smart guy. I mean, well-read, well-educated person, but he was in this sandbox of belief. So at the end of the conversation, I said, "Look, I want you to listen to this tape." I gave him the link to James Hansen's "Why I Must Speak Out" video. It's like a 20-minute TED talk by James Hansen, where he basically says, "Here's my life. Here's what happened to me when I started explaining climate change. Here's what you see happening around you. This is exactly so." And then I gave him the book *Sapien*. Into the book *Sapien*. So he called me the next day and he goes, "Okay, I watched the video and I'm now reading the book." So it's what a breakthrough, So
Yes.
it's one at a time, where you just put your credibility on the line, but in a nice, gentle way.
Yeah.
And you have to be read up on the material. You have
Yeah.
to be knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
And know your thing, which is why it's so important to join an existing organization where you
Yes.
get on how to talk to people who just are in the denial camp.
Mm-hmm.
But that's our mission. We have to change the narrative.
Yes. Yes, and in considering this forum, I'd love to have you sort of think into who might you want to convene. I'm happy to be a part of it and help if this is something that feels useful, to be able to go deeper into dismantling the narrative and building the new one. So what voices need to come together? And just,
I've been talking with like Neil forever. We started a conversation, I think in 2003, that was on LinkedIn. We had over 10,000 comments in there going back and forth. And with Michael, I've been with Michael on, we had a conversation that lasted for over a year. That was, is the United States an inverted totalitarian state? There's a guy who wrote.
Just a small topic.
So I mean, but see, what we have specialists who are in buckets. I mean, Michael is very specialized. He likes to do printing, remote printing, and killer stuff. My next question is, what do you want to print? Why would you not use this capacity to print materials that they need in order to build a regenerative agricultural capacity there and develop their own local food system? So in other words, and this is also what I was saying in the CCL meeting this morning, we need, when you look at the 4 per 1,000 initiative, that's baseline, right? We know we need to carbonize the soil.
Yes.
A realistic solution. When you have that as your ground entry level point, then what does it all take to make that happen? Right, so then my thing is, well, you need to have farmers provided as access to the market, because otherwise, what are they supposed to grow and how is this supposed to be used? Then you need to link with the culinary organization so that the culinary profession changes their menus and changes the foods that they feature to accommodate the products that are available in the market. So that is already well underway.
Mm-hmm.
Then go to the grocery store and say, hey, look, we want to have local food on the shelf here. If not, we'll buy whoever does it.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you combine these different specialties. So how do you get Michael to talk, to think about how can I convey information to my audience that empowers the 4 per 1,000 initiative?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when you may have Neil, who has, you know, such a reach with nonprofit organizations and around the world, really, and he's working as a consultant to NGOs and so on. If he becomes single-mindedly focused on, we need to get carbon into the soil as a ground thing, because you know you already have droughts, you already have water issues, and unless you carbonize the soil, you know, it will only get worse.
Yeah.
But if you put carbon into the soil, that becomes like a sponge. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So anytime it rains, it will hold it.
Yes.
So I mean, I can assist in empowering the argumentations and the reasoning why, but we need to have a 360 approach,
Yes.
you know, of specialists who think in their particular fields that we know nothing about, or you know, we barely understand,
Mm-hmm.
but who can use these as tools to support the same objective. We have to pull into one direction. And right now we're all over the place, you know, and I get so, not frustrated is the wrong thing to say, but I mean, I look at all these highly intellectual discourses on, you know, diagrams and charts and communication patterns and this and that and the other, but what is that going to do at the end of the day? What are you going to do with this?
Yeah.
This is academics, right? I'm not an academic, I'm a practitioner. And so, you know, I mean, in fact, I was the only guy without an MBA. When I came to Germany, I mean, at this year it didn't matter because I was going through the ranks there, but when I came to Düsseldorf, my boss was a senior partner at BBDO, which is one of the largest global marketing firms in the world. And the guy next to me was a PhD something, and he came from McKinsey. And I got the corner office, right? And I have no MBA, I have no degree, nothing. They couldn't process that. It was the craziest thing, you know. But I just, yeah. I mean, to me, it's just like, look, let's figure out what we need to know, not what you learned there. It's just irrelevant. I had a lady work for me. She had 2 MBAs. She was so wrapped up. I mean, I couldn't untangle her. Because it's just too smart, you know. So it is to operationalize.
Yeah.
And that's not everybody is cut out for that. You know, a lot of people oftentimes have fear, you know, to engage and commit. You know, it takes this perseverance and this pushing, and
Yes.
you know, and so.
So I have a thought. Now, so after I'll upload these pieces for you, and we can decide what we want to do with them. But I wonder about posting the main video and this one to the Global Challenges collaboration, and see who other may want to participate. Like Harry, you know, does his graphic facilitation work.
Yeah.
There's you know, Deborah really thinks about narrative, and just to put it out there to see if anybody wants to help specifically with moving this forward.
Yeah, and there is, I mean, in fact, if we can do something like this, there is a global organization, 4 per 1,000, that has formed. It's an international effort, and I haven't joined them yet, but we are going to, as CTL, we're going to become a member. So I will learn more about them. But we can join something and work as advisors to the group. You know?
Well, I mean, in terms of my intention in posting this checkout video to the group, it would be to get us all thinking. Like, Anna's already posted your 4 per 1,000. I haven't been online much in the last couple of days, but I noticed that she had. So there's the, you know, there's the ecology of our own group and what we're thinking, but there's also people that I think that would help in specific ways if they knew that you had a need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
So,
yeah. And if we could have a brainstorming session with like Neil and Michael and David Brayton and Harry and these fellows, and saying, okay, guys, so what do you see? How can we, and specifically, how can we shift the narrative?
Yes.
How can we shift the narrative so that people truly focus on soil carbonization as the most readily available, most attractive solution, most easy to do solution?
Yes.
Because not only that we heal the soil, we're also healing ourselves.
Yes.
God.
Yes. Yes. Cool. That feels like a good next step.
Okay.
Any other final thoughts?
No, I wanted to thank you for. I mean, I also really appreciate that we had this pre-session yesterday, and because I didn't quite know what to expect and how to engage in this here. So that was very helpful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's my pleasure. Thank you for joining and playing in the space.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go have some lunch.
That sounds good. I'm hungry too. All right.
All right, thanks, Cuz. Bye-bye.